Like, he is an absolute rocket.
I really did not think that would happen.
It's bad to say it, but I feel like he is underrated.
You think Salvatore Monday is going to beat Kopek de Board? Like, genuinely?
Hello and a warm welcome to the Next Gen Racing YouTube channel for our first Ante-post series episode of our five-a-side team for the Cheltenham Festival. 5 weeks, every Sunday, 6 p.m. leading up to the festival. Jack and I are going to give one selection going into this year's Cheltenham Festival. We just want to build a team of 5. There's no need to have a 21 episode version of an Ante-post series where you've got half the field in every race. Jack and I are going to have our 5 best selections going into the 2025 Cheltenham Festival. We'll also be giving a kind of a feature during each week's show, something where we look at kind of the bankers or we look at outsiders or something like that. Let us know down in the comments if you want us to do anything, if you want us to answer any questions or whatever. We're more than happy to do it each week on the show. You'll be liking what we've got coming up for our feature this week. Jack, the Ante-post game, we've always discussed it. We did used to, like a kind of hypocrite, we did used to have an Ante-post series that ran for about 20 weeks leading into the festival. But I think it's better where we've seen a lot of these horses. We know roughly where they're going to go. I know the prices might not be as appealing, but we can have 5 strong selections going into the festival.
Yeah, no, 100%. We got 5 weeks for 5 winners. That's it. There's no point having the value now. It's all about finding those winners and potentially a little bit of value. So I'm looking forward to getting stuck into it. There were 2 or 3 that I was mulling over ideas of who to put up, but I think we've got a pretty strong one coming your way. So I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely, yeah. Looking forward to getting our selections at the end of this show. Nice short shows, nice and quick. And we will get into our feature this week, where Jack and I have decided to look at the 8 top Cheltenham Festival bankers this year. The ones that we've got in question are Kopek de Board in the Supreme, Sergino in the Arkle, Constitution Hill in the Champion Hurdle, John Bon in the Champion Chase, Galopin de Champs in the Gold Cup, Tearpoo in the Stayers Hurdle, Bright Stays Ahead in the Mayor's Hurdle, and Factor File in the Ryanair. They're the 8 horses that we're going to look at, and we're going to rank them on a confidence scale of how confident we are that they're going to go and win at the festival. Ones at the top will be our most confident, and the ones at the bottom are our least confident. So let's have a look at these right now. And Jack, what on earth have you done there with John Bon at the bottom? But you might go, what on earth have I done here with John Bon at the top?
Oh, Sam, I genuinely did not think that would happen. Oh.
Wow. So, right, I suppose we should probably talk about John Bon first then, because he's the talking horse on these lists. You've got him at the bottom. I've got him at the top. Let me just make my case of why he should be at the top. First of all, this is an incredibly weak Champion Chase. Now, Gaelic Warrior has really disappointed this season. Ile-Francais, whether he goes to this race, I don't know. But I just think if he were to go off a million miles an hour, it's going to suit John Bon down to a T, who could stay forever he wanted to. You've got Solness, who won at the DRF at the weekend, who, again, if he goes off like the clappers, it will just tee things up for John Bon. Nicky Henson's already come out and said if they're not going quick enough for John Bon, then he'll go do it himself. So he's basically got 2 pacemakers if he wants in this race that could just set it up bang for him. And I said a few weeks back that I feel like John Bon, I wasn't a massive fan. I know he's got so many wins to the name. I wasn't a massive fan of him a couple of seasons ago. I did have question marks, but I just think we are now seeing the best of John Bon. I think he's almost bulletproof. I was really impressed with his performance against Energamine. I genuinely think he will just go there and he will win at this year's Cheltenham Festival. You can say what you want about his Cheltenham form, but he has won there. He knows what he's doing. I'm very, very confident in John Bon. I think he's a tasty price. Out of all these bankers, he's not a bad price.
Sam, come on. He's odds on. He's He's got genuine opposition and he doesn't like the track.
Does he not? Do you genuinely think he does not like the track? Can you genuinely say it hand in heart that he hates Cheltenham?
No. I could not say he hates Cheltenham, but I think he's shown enough holes at Cheltenham for you to be able to pick holes in him as an odds-on favourite. I genuinely do.
Right, okay. I mean, look at it, right? So he was second to Constitution Hill in the Supreme, right?
Yeah.
Then he was second to El Fabiolo. That was in the Arkle Chase, right? And El Fabiolo was going to come out and be the next big champion chaser.
6 lengths, yeah.
Okay, fine. Right, then won against Edwardstone. That was in the Schlur Chase. That was back in 2023, right? And then he's also won the Schlur Chase again in 2024.
What happened in between
and you're telling me that he's our Cheltenham horse?
What happened in between that? Because you missed out a vital run.
I did, yeah. Did I do that? I almost did that on purpose, didn't I?
I know you did.
You're going to talk about the Elixir to Nuts run, right?
Yeah, been in the rearranged Clarence House and then just about scraped home in front of Boot Hill in the Schlur this year. Ooh,
Yeah,
Sam.
okay, good. Yeah, good to see that your Nube Negro was well in the picture that day. Like he went off forwards, it just didn't go right though, did it? He didn't jump very well. Like I genuinely think that day he just wasn't completely right. If you had run that again at Ascot, maybe he would have just been the same John Bon. And he just wouldn't have shown up that day. That wasn't the John Bon that we used to see. And if you're telling me this season that John Bon isn't the best we've seen him, then you're mad. I genuinely just think he's bulletproof. He is. I think he is bulletproof this season. I genuinely do. He's It's mad to say it, but I feel like he is underrated.
Oh, wowzers, that's something. He's rated 170. He's odds on for the champion chase. You got a two-time Group 1 winner, a Grade 1 winner in there, Solness, who's going to go like the clappers from the front, along with Ile Francais. His jumping's going to be tested out to the max. And he's telling me he's bulletproof. Oh, Sam.
I think his jumping's very good. I think his jump. I'm not saying he's overrated in terms of or underrated. Sorry, based on his rating, but I just think that every time he seems to run, people are desperate to try and take him on. Where you've just got to now accept that he is just an incredible quality horse in the 2 mile division. I just can't see him being beaten. We don't need to discuss this forever, but interesting to hear where people. I mean, feel free in the comments to put your rankings in there from top to bottom as well, and let us know where you sit these horses. So yeah, John Bon's a fascinating one. Let's leave that there. Galopin Des Champs we put in the same position. I mean, we've said in our show on Thursday that we were fairly confident that he'll just turn up and win that Gold Cup. He's proven that he's beaten some of the opposition already, and some in Britain would have to improve plenty to go and beat him. Constitution Hill, we've got in a similar position, Jack. You've got him 3rd and I've got him 4th. The reason for not having him so high, I mean, we talk about him being one of the best champion hurdlers and the best horses we've ever seen in the National Hunt game, but is that just based on the fact that Lossiemouth could turn up here and we don't know exactly how good Lossiemouth could be against Constitution Hill based on what we saw at Christmas and whether she was actually right that day?
Oh no, he'll beat Lossiemouth by another 5-10 lengths, won't he?
Well, yeah, maybe. We'll just wait and see. I'm trying to throw it, but why Constitution Hill not higher? We just do we just think that potentially Galopin Des Champs better? I mean, we'll talk about who you've put the top in a second.
Well, there are 2 main reasons. One, I know we've got brighter days ahead for the Mares Hurdle, but if the circumstance did come out, she went to the Champion Hurdle, I think she'd have a cracking chance. And 2, we're still 5 or 6 weeks out, 5-6 weeks out from the Champion Hurdle, and a lot can go wrong with the Constitution Hill in 5 to 6 weeks. So they're probably the 2 reasons. I know a lot of people were crabbing the form last time out at Cheltenham, but that was just a race course gallop, wasn't it? And yeah, he blundered the last, and they went ridiculously slow early doors, and they let him have it all his own way. But I don't think you can look into that too much at all.
Yeah, Sergino, we've both written our top 4. I've got him 3rd, you've got him 4th. I think, we're recording this on a Thursday, so we don't actually know what's happened at the weekend at Newbury. Sure. But look, at this stage, at the time of recording, he looks fairly rock solid in that race, and Madgeborough's jumping is a bit questionable. And I feel like if Sergino just jumps around Cheltenham, he'll just out-jump Madgeborough on the day. Let's talk about the one you've got up the top then, Jack. And I know you're raving on about Kopek de Boards here for the Supreme, who out of all these is probably one of the most fairly appealing prices to a lot of people. But I've got the horse down in, 6th place currently. And that's just based on the fact that we've talked about it being a weak Supreme, which probably doesn't help my case at all here because he's turned up and put an exceptional performance in. But the likes of Romeo Coolio have put up some decent times and won some decent races. There's no doubt about that. Romeo Coolio has put up some good times. And in some ways now the value is with Romeo Coolio and the Supreme. I know price-wise Tom Siegel's even come out and said that on In the Know in the last week or so. But there are other horses. Salvatore Monday's fascinating. I know he was before Kobe de Ball came out, he was the Supreme favourite. And we were all going he's questionable. And we both did question him, Jack, and say he was worth taking on. But then we were also asking the question, what is there to beat him in the Supreme? Now we've got something that could go and beat him, but if the Mullins camp are really talking up Salvatore Monday, if he were to put everything together that he must show on the gallops, could he be a danger to Kopek de Board?
I hope they do keep talking about him, because if Kopek de Board drifts any more, then he'll be a bit of a price, won't he? Look, nothing. Seriously, Sam, you think Salvatore Monday is going to beat Kopek de Board, genuinely?
No, I don't think he will. My question is that Supreme, I mean, it's thrown up some strange results in the past, but out of all them, I mean, we talk about Sergino having the one really impressive run and we're all raving up for the Arkle, but I then come to Kopek de Board, he puts in one really exceptional performance and we all rave him up for Supreme, and then I'm trying to take him on. But I'm just not that I'm taking him on, I just think there are more solid horses going to Cheltenham than him. I'm just surprised how high you put him in this.
Yeah, no, fair enough. He's a novice hurdler, and I suppose that's always the question is you've only seen him run over hurdles twice, but like he smashed into his hurdles the first day and recorded a really good time. And last time out, everything went wrong. He took a firm grip. The horse came down in front of him. He was hampered. He had to switch as well. But look, he did it in such a good time, and it's just what beats him. Like Romeo Coolio beat Blue Devassi by 9 lengths. He got absolutely smashed at the Dublin Racing Festival. Salvatore Monday has generally shown nothing that makes me think he's anywhere near the level of Kopek de Board. I think he's probably got £15 to find. Work Ahead's probably the only one that I'd make a case for, because his time was really nice. He made all. He was carrying £5 more than Kopek de Board at Christmas. But look, other than that, Sam, I genuinely cannot see Kopek de Board being beaten.
Wow, right at the top for Jack then. Just a couple more minutes on this then. Bright Days Ahead. I've put the horse 5th. You've got the horse currently 7th. We don't exactly know where it's going to go. There's been a drift on the champion hurdle market, and obviously well backed for the mare's hurdle. Was your decision on that based on that, Jack, or was it just more the fact that you think there are horses in that mare's hurdle that could still beat her?
Yeah, to be honest, Sam, I'd say it's a bit of a mixture of both. I think the mare's hurdle might not set up to her liking at all. If you look at how she was beaten in the mare's novices hurdle, it just came from a slow pace and then having to kick clear. It looks like she wants a rapid 2 miles. She was even taking a bit of a keen hold over the 2 miles. So I think if there is one way you're going to get her beaten, it's a crawl over 2.5 and having to kick clear. And also, I do quite like both July Flower and Calaconte, who finished 1-2 in that grade 3. I think they're both pretty solid yardstick in the mare's hurdle. So I'll happily take her on with either of those two, because I think she's in the wrong race.
Okay. I completely agree. And obviously, a lot of people not really talking about that mare's novice hurdle run last season, where it looked like she was going to go and win. Didn't quite happen, but could be a reason for taking her on. Let's have a look at Ante-post, Stayers hurdle. Obviously, start December, he was beaten by Lossiemouth, wasn't he? But still, it's a weak Stayers hurdle. It genuinely is. But is it just the fact that we don't really know too much about Ante-post this season, do we?
Yeah, look, it's a tricky one to try and see him get beaten, but he's been off for a while, and I think the Stayers hurdle division is just so muddling. We see it year in, year out. When Paisley Park was a rock-solid favourite to go and win and didn't quite get the job done, I think there's enough in there to make you think and look a little bit elsewhere, even the likes of Ballyadam, if he chooses to go there. And heavens, of course, I'm bringing it up, but Langadan, I think he's another cracking each way bet, and the likes of Lucky Place. So I think there's probably enough there to make me look elsewhere. Home by the Lee, of course. So no, I can understand the appeal for Ante-post, but it's just not really a market to be getting involved at that short for me.
100%. And in fact, Files, the last one we found out from managers, well, we didn't find out, but we kind of heard the rumours that this horse will now go for the Ryanair based on the fact they've been beaten by Galopin de Champs the last 2 starts. And I've put this horse at the bottom just because the reason I've done this is due to the fact that I do think there are going to be a lot of horses who, at the start of the season, we're going to go to the Gold Cup and now seeing Galopin de Champs looking as good as ever and going, let's just avoid that. And this Ryanair could be a weaker race, and horses that, will get the 2.5 mile and the 3 mile trip, they can switch between the two. We'll end up in that 2.5 mile race with Factor File. So I think he's worth taking on, dropping back in trip. But I don't know where you saw this horse in terms of going into the Ryanair.
Yeah, I probably did put him 1 or 2 places too high, to be honest, just because, as you say, I think that out of all of them, I think he's going to have the strongest competition. People are going to try and pick holes in him and get him beaten. Even Gaelic Warrior sounds like he might be going there. Protector at last year's winner. Ile Francais will probably dodge him, but it looks like he's going to have a decent amount of competition, even the likes of Jungle Boogie down there as well. So I understand why you've put him at the bottom. And look, what price is he now? Is he 2-1 or so?
Who's around that, yeah.
Probably not too much wiggle room there, is there?
Yeah. Well, there we go then. That is our confidence levels, where we feel. Jack and I are not saying that all these horses, we're not saying the ones at the bottom are going to get beaten. This is just where we stand in the markets at the moment, our confidence levels in how we would back these, basically, if we were to back them. I know some people are probably on that 8-fold, to be totally honest, and, that muggy 8-fold could end up coming in. There's no reason you look at that and go, well, who could get beaten? But it's just our confidence levels and who we fancy going into the festival. It's odd to say, but John Bon at the top for me, John Bon at the bottom for Jack. That's how we end that segment of the show. Right, let's get into our first selections then, Jack, ahead of this 5-a-side team that we're building ahead of the Cheltenham Festival. And I'll tell you what, I'll go first, because you've been umming and ahhing of who I could potentially put up as my first selection. We could call my captain of my squad this season. Did you want to guess who it was? Because you were kind of asking me questions, but you didn't exactly say who the answer is. But who you think my first selection will be?
I think they come in the Triumph Hurdle.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought
Yeah.
so.
It's East India Dock in the
Yeah.
Triumph Hurdle, currently 11-4 for the race. I know it's a little bit too short as an Ante-post selection, but this is going to be my captain. I think this horse is rock solid. He's won the 2 trials over the course and distance here, and his sectionals the last 2 times actually would have been competitive in the last 10 Triumph Hurdles. Like, he is an absolute rocket. His speed figures have just been absolutely insane. Now, he jumps really well. He's got more gears to burn. The fact that those speed figures, by the way, were as good as they were and he wasn't even pushed to his full capacity is so impressive. Now, I'm just not exactly sure what Lulamba's done to deserve being 7-4 favourite for this race. Like, yes, he's got this, come over from France, and we all talk about these horses that come over from France and won nice enough last time out. But what exactly did we see from him that was to the level of East India Dock? I just don't think. I think if you look at them both, if you watch them both back visually, there's only one winner that you would go, oh, that horse should be favourite for a Triumph Hurdle. Now, if I had him in that list, Jack, that we've just gone through, East India Dog, I genuinely would have him in the top 4. I think he's so good. I think I wouldn't often put 11-4 shot up Ante-post, but I think he's so solid. I think even on the day, I think Lulamba might drift and this horse will get backed. I could see him going off like 6-4, 7-4. I think he's so good. But yeah, 11-4 is a short price for an Ante-post selection, but I do think he's rock solid. So East India Dog in the Triumph Hurdle, captain my 5-a-side team. Jack, who is your first selection?
Yeah, no, I completely see the East India Dock angle. He's definitely done more than Lalamba. Lalamba showed plenty on hurdling debut, but yeah, I completely agree with you. I'd rather be on East India Dock at the price, and I'd make him probably favourite in my eyes. So yeah, my first is going to be a 10-1 shot that comes in the Turners, and it's going to be Cowabunga, the JP McManus trained Cowabunga. Now, his first run over hurdles for Willie Mullins, he ran behind Kopek de Board, finished second that day, was the only one who could actually keep up with Kopek de Board with 4 lengths of Winnie Hill, who ran in the Grade 1 next time out, but petered out there. But from the first hurdles of the line, Cowabunga was actually quicker than Kopek de Board. Kopek de Board, of course, smashed into every obstacle he could find in front of him, and Cowabunga jumped okay and found a little bit when he was keeping on at the line there. And since he's gone and beaten William Money, he stretched clear, he edged clear in good style towards the end, and William Money's no mug, so to beat him by a length and a half, I really do think Cowabunga is probably I reckon he is the second best novice we've seen since, after Kopek de Board. I actually reckon he could potentially be better than Final Demand and the New Line, and he's a double figure price if he does go to the Turners. It sounds like they are going to go to the Turners. I think he's got bundles of ability. I think the Turners will be suited to him, especially if they need to quicken. Like sometimes in the Turners, they go a little bit slower, and it turns into a bit of a sprint test up the hill compared to the Supreme, where they go end-to-end gallop for the first race of the festival. If they do have to quicken, I think it's going to be absolutely perfect for Cowabunga. I know that Paul Town will, of course, be on Final Demand, but I think he's got a cracking chance. It'll be interesting to see if JP runs both the New Line and Cowabunga, but regardless, I think Cowabunga is the best in the Turners, and I think 10-1 will look at a nice price come the day.
Cowabunga for Jack, then 10-1 in the Turners Novices Hurdle, and I will be with East India Dock in the Triumph Hurdle at 11-4. So there's our first selections this week. We will be back again on Thursday for our weekend preview, and back again on the Sunday for our second selections for the Ante-post series. Like I say, let us know down in the comments where you put those top 8 bankers, where you would sit them in terms of confidence levels going into the festival, and also if you've got any ideas of what you want Jack and I to do as a feature for next week's show, then do put them in there, and Jack and I will have a look and discuss those during the week. But as always, big thanks for watching. Do like, comment, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you again next Thursday, 6 p.m. for our weekend preview.